Okay, I know it's been a while since I made a video, but I've not only been busy, but kind of fucked up, so let's just get this over with. So we've got a tower, and I should probably draw this for you. Okay. So we got our power cable here, by the way, and we've got some single mode bidirectional fiber optics cable right here. Just alright for a minute. Alright, so here's the situation, and I'm sure many of you guys have had to deal with this. We've got our rack space inside of the building. So our rack would be about here. And this is our shelf here, and then outside here is our radio tower, and we've got our enclosure here. Inside of here is a network switch. So, now the catch is that all the DC is in here, everything's in here. We need to connect the router in here, so that'd be a symbol for router. We need to connect the router here to here, so we're going to be using fiber and DC. The total distance here that we're looking at, from here to here, is about 100 feet, or roughly 30-ish meters, okay? So, to get that there, we're running 54 volts DC, because the whole plant here is 54 volts DC, and our switch out here takes 54 volts DC. And we are also going to use a fiber optic cable to get our data across. I just noticed my audio is really quiet, so let me fix that. Checkity check, check, check. Alright, that looks a little bit brighter. Okay. So, that's what we have here. So, that's what we're going to make today. Now, a little bit of a warning before we start this video. I am a novice when it comes to fiber optics. I am learning this stuff. But I know my DC stuff. So, first of all, let's take a quick look at the color codes here. Okay, so we've got, you probably recognize these ones from standard Ethernet, right? So you go like blue, orange, green, brown. We usually go 568A, which is white, green, green, white, orange, blue, orange, white, brown, brown. In the case of 568B, it's white, orange, orange, white, green, blue, green, white, brown, brown. Well, these are color codes that have been in place for a very, very long time, and they are still present today, and they will be for, well, until we're all dead, which who knows how long that's going to be. So, we're going to just print that off. I'll probably stick this in the end of the video. Now, something else to point out with fiber. Multi-mode tends to be orange, and I think I have a piece of multi-mode here. So if you see orange, that's multi-mode. And if you see yellow, yellow is single mode. Cool, eh? Alright. So let's get down. This isn't a fiber optics lesson anyway. There's lots of smarter people out there who make those videos. So why don't we do this? I am going to show you guys what I'm up to. So first things first, let's get down to the fiber splicing, because that's what everybody wants to know about. This is a fusion splicer. This is a cell phone. This is a cheap fusion splicer. I think I paid $2,500 for it, Canadian, which it's about $1,000 US. So this guy here ties into my cell phone. Has connected to. Here we go. So I should be able to. It doesn't look like it's actually synced. So hold on a second here. There we go. AI. Let's turn up the audio on this so you guys can actually hear it.
Heating is complete.
Cool, eh? So this, I can actually...
Please place the fiber and close windshield cover.
Neat, eh?
Fiber is moving.
Alright, so...
Failed to identify qualified fiber. Please reposition after clean beadproof and fiber.
Because we're going to be pulling this cable through a ceiling for a good distance, I am going to only do one end. And we only need 2 strands for this. This is 6 strand. Thanks, Chad, by the way, for hooking me up with the fiber optics cable. So we're going to need a few things to do this. Fusion splicer, number 1, very important. Cleaver. This is my cheap little cleaver that came with the fusion splicer that seems to work pretty damn good. We are going to need strippers for fiber optics. We are going to need a brush to clean our tools. This is just a generic cable stripper. Pro Kit foreskin remover. Alright. We have got a cleaner, my scissors, my Kleins, and we have got a ruby. Because rubies are very, very important for testing this stuff. And you should have laser glasses for these. Otherwise you will fuck up your eyes if you're not careful. Alright, so checking on the camera. Yeah, okay, we got plenty of time. Alright, so now, what I'm going to do is we just need something basic to go from the rack to here. So this cable is going to be anchored at both sides. So I just need to make up a couple of tails here to get it across. So we've also got our Kim wipes here. A bit of a process to this. It's kind of This is isopropyl alcohol. We use this in electronics all the time, by the way, so don't need this right now. We need this stuff. So first things first, I'm going to take off a little bit here, because I'm actually going to put heat shrink and stuff over this when we're done. So I need a little bit more than that. I'm just going to dial that in a bit. There we go. And there we go. The jacket comes off nice and easily. Awesome. Only skin came off that easily. Alright, so here's our Kevlar strength members. We are going to cut that off with my stupidly sharp Klein scissors. These things are great, folks. You can also cut the skin with those. Alright, so what did we say? Blue and orange, right? So we're going to use blue and orange on this set here, and then the rest are going to go away. So this may actually be a little bit of a nicer splice than I'm used to, because it's nice and simple. I really don't need much more than 2 strands, so I'm not going to make a fool of myself too badly. Alright, so that being said, we need to do a few things. First of all, we need to get
place the fiber and
our windscreen open.
Cover.
And I'm going to do the side. Actually, I'll do the tail first. There's really no particular method. I think this really is dependent on your techniques. So here's our tail. I'm actually going to cut off a little bit because we don't need all that tail. There we go. And be very careful with your shards. I should actually grab my sharps container. 1 second. A little trick that a friend showed me. I don't have any duct tape with me right now, and because of the quarantine, I can't buy any either. Yay. And by the way, please take this shit seriously. If you're one of these people that's protesting this whole thing and getting other people sick, kindly think about your others. You're not important. None of us are. So, I mean, like, you know, just do it for your neighbors, for the rest of the species. Don't make everybody fucking sick like an idiot. Wait till it's over. Here we go. So I'm going to get this guy prepped. I'm also going to put a tail on here first. And I put the tape underneath here so that I can catch any droppings, because we want to make sure that we don't get any loose ends. And this is my pill bottle with a bunch of sharps in it. It's all cuttings. So let's get down to business. So first things first, I'm going to, get a splice protector on here. Like so. Just going to get it to the end so it's out of the way. And then I am going to, those guys over there, strip off some of the jacket here. It's going to be a little bit painful. There we go. That's just the jacket, by the way.
I can still be overpowered by people.
There we go. Now, that's the, I guess the tube, the jacket. The inside, there's a cladding. I don't know if you can see that, but I'm going to strip off the cladding now. There we go. Go over it twice. And when I'm done that, just because I'm OCD, throw the cladding away, and we're going to grab a Kim wipe. Take this Kim wipe, and we're going to clean this thing really well. That's why you have to be careful with these, is because this is a super sterile, super sharp little piece of glass shard. And if you get this in your flesh, it's not going to be fun. Try to consider that. Okay, so now we cut this. I'm going to try to keep this as tolerant as possible, or close as possible, and you'll see why in a minute. So we're going to bring this back to Lucky 13. That's what I typically do. Close that. You see how it's got its own little tray that it sits in? Okay, so now I'm going to flick my blade this way. Now notice I've got a bit of overhang here. That's why you want to strip it long, so you have lots of overhang, so it's easy to keep track of. Got my cutting into the sharp spin. Okay, so that one's in there now. Those suck if you get them in your flesh, and they can cause you some real bodily harm. So now I'm going to put this in here. So I'm going to insert this into the V-groove here, like so, and I'm going to put it just close to the electrodes, like so. Those are up. That guy's prepped. See that? I'm used to doing this on the right-hand side, so this is going to be... Maybe I should just do it on the right-hand side. Sorry. I'm thinking right. That's my bad. I'm right-handed, right? So, and I put the splice protector on that side. Now, these fusion splicers are pretty smart now. They do a lot of the work for you. So I'm actually going to just put this guy here for a second. I'm going to bring this over here so that it's not entirely in the way, and I am going to put a clippy on it so that it can stay on the bench here easily. There we go. I want this to rest in here without too much trouble. Okay, so let's get this guy done now. So I'm going to do blue because that's the first one that we need. I might actually shorten this just a teeny tiny bit. There we go. Okay, so let's do the jacket first. There we go.
You have to pick up
There we go. So that's a decent length. I'm going to strip off the cladding. Okay, and I am going to this with some ISO. Make sure that's really clean. Now we can cleave it. So I'm going to do the same length. I'm going to put this at 13 here. Lucky 13. There we go. The idea that I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get these two close enough that the splice protector will protect the whole thing. So I'm going to roll the blade back this way now. And there we go. I'm going to put that that's in there. Good. Got a nice clean cleave. Let's see if I cut it too short like a retard. Alright, let's see here. Alright, let's just see how that works. If we're lucky, that'll work. I think I made that one way too close. Whatever. Let's find out.
Fibre is moving. Fibre is focusing. Fibre is moving. Fibre is splicing. Tensile testing. Tensile test done. Loss 0.02 dB.
Okay, now we can get this guy ready. This is just what I've taught myself, so I'm going to get this splice protector as close as possible.
Please place the fibre and close windshield cover.
And I'm very going to carefully open this up.
预站设已完成.
Oop, that wasn't good. Okay, we are going to... That was really bad, by the way. I'm very, very lucky that that didn't break. Make fun of me all you want. Here we go. So I'm going to drop this guy into the heating chamber now.
Please wait.
And that is going to
Fibre is moving.
heat the heat shrink on this little guy, which has a stainless steel support member in it.
Fibre. Please reposition after clean groove and fibre.
And that'll protect the splice.
Heating is complete.
Now, something I neglected to do, by the way, beforehand is put heat shrink on here to cover all this up. So that's a little dough head move, but whatever. I can put it on after. Okay, so now we can do orange. These guys can stay back. So I'm going to cut this one about roughly the same length. So where did I put that blue? So cut it off right about here. There we go. And let's do the next one. So I'm just going to put this one over here for a minute where it's put away. Oop, oop, oop. There we go. Let's put a little bit of tape over this maybe. I don't know. Do I have some tape here? I think I do. Yeah, I do. Alright, let's just put a little bit of tape around this just to hold it in place. Here we go. Alright, awesome. Okay, so let's prep this now. I'll just do this side first.
Heating. Please place the fibre and close windshield cover.
It's kind of a fiddly process, just that you guys know.
Heating is complete.
So, I'd love to see some seasoned professionals hop on YouTube and from our groups and show this to us that we can actually learn something of this. I guess that's nice and long. I'm going to clean off the cladding here. It's clean. Cladding seems to come off when you strip off the jacket anyway half the time, so there we go. Alright, let's get the blade ready. We're going to flick her back. Put her in like so. And I'm just going to close her. Look at put that teeny tiny little nightmare in here. Good, that's in there now. And let's get this into the V-groove. There we go. I'm going to put a little clamp on the corner of my desk here to hold the fiber in place so it doesn't get all crotchety and slip around. Clamp might not be good enough. Let's do this one. There we go. Okay, so now let's do another tail. I'm just going to grab another one for the pile here. There we go. Try to make these roughly the same length. There we go. And I'm going to put a splice protector on it. There we go. Now these are 60mm splice protectors. I got them only because I was told that that's what I should get. Remember, I'm a rookie. Here we go. Alright, so we're going to strip off the jacket. So you can see it's just pretty tough, but don't break it. Alright, and the next thing we have to do once this is done is do a test on the cable to make sure that it's all good. So I'm going to run this over at once. There we go, get some ISO on here. And let's cleaver. There we go. There we go. It's done. Let's pop it in this side now. Just carefully get those tips. I wish I had a zoom camera for this. Maybe one of you guys can give me some more tips. I know that a few of you guys have been really helpful in teaching me about doing video on the Wisp community. Actually, there's many good videographers here. Alright, here we go. Here goes nothing. Let's see how she does.
Fibre is moving. Fibre is moving. Fibre is splicing. Tensile test done. Loss 0.01 dB.
Okay, so that's the 2 splices that we needed to make. I'm just gonna clean this out. All onto this piece of plastic here. I'll fold this up. And I'm gonna carefully cap my sharps container. There, that's gonna go aside. That is a nightmare in a bottle. Alright, so now we're gonna carefully get this guy prepped. So we're gonna open the heater, little furnace there.
Please place the fiber and close windshield cover.
And I'm going to get the tube ready.
已建设已完成.
Alright, here we go. Just open her up. Just kind of giving her a little pull. There we go. So that's roughly centered now. So I'm going to drop this guy in here like so. I'm going to make sure that's good center. Right about there. Drop her in.
Heating. Please wait. Fiber is moving. Failed to identify qualified fiber. Please reposition after clean regroup and fiber. Heating is complete.
Okay, so now we can lift this out of here. So now we've got our lovely little splice. Nice. Okay, so let's clean this guy out.
Heating. Please place the fiber and close windshield cover.
There we go. We are done with the
Fiber
fusion
is
splicer.
moving. Failed to identify qualified fiber. Please reposition after clean regroup and fiber. Heating is complete.
I'm going to turn her off now. Good night.
I think it's my go.
Here you go. Okay, so this cable is now prepped. So now what I would really like to do is I just want to tidy it up a little bit so it's safe. So I'm going to get the heat gun going here. There we go. Just going to put this over here where it's not going to cause any trouble. Fire her up. And let's find some nice pretty heat shrink for this now so we can make this look good. Now I'm going to save these strands because you never know when you might need them. There's no point in wasting them. There we go. Now before I actually do get serious, I'm going to kind of turn off the lights here for a second. And I'm going to get this guy prepped. So here's my, actually I'll turn the light on for a second. Here's my light source, my Ruby, and here's my tip cleaner. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to clean my tip. I'm going to put that in there, give it a click, and plug her in. Now let's just run some light through it. And you can see that we don't have a ton of leakage. So that's not amazing, but that's okay. Alright, especially for the distance that we're doing. So if I look on the other end of the cable now, you look here. Alexa, turn off bench light.
Okay.
There we go. So you can see now, there's really no leakage in the cable, but we can find the end of it really easy just by digging through the bundle. So my light source here, hope you guys can see this, is kind of cool. So my light source here is coming out at the other end of the cable, but as you can see, the rest of the bundle's okay, so that's a great sign. That means that there's no break there. It's kind of cool though, if you look along here though, you can see the bleed inside of that cable because it's so strong. The laser. So I'm going to put that aside, and now let's check the other strand now that we know that that one's good. I'm going to turn down the airflow and the temperature on that. So I'm just going to cap this again. By the way, please practice laser safety. Don't be a retard like me. Okay, here we go. There we go. Alright, same thing. Got a little bit of bleed right here where the splice happened, but there's always loss of a splice anyway. Okay, let's see. The whole cable looks good. You can see it popping out at the end here. It's great. So that looks like a good cable. It's fine, and actually if you really want to find out, I'll show you guys when we install it. We've got a light meter here. This is how we actually test loss. Now that the light's on, you can see that you can barely see the laser now. So let's turn this off for a second. Carefully, and remember, by the way, guys, that laser communications, fiber optics, is actually infrared, so you can't see it. So if you think you're going to look in the end of one of these cables and see something, no, but you probably won't see anything ever again, because it will destroy your retinas. So let's plug this guy in and see if it's intact. Looks like it is. Perfect. This is just a little test cable that I threw together. So we can use this on the light meter a couple of ways. Oops. Yeah. Let me get down here. I'm just going to get my adapter for a 2.5mm ferrule. I think it's in here somewhere. Alright, there's my SC connector adapter for the end of this. This is set up with the FC because my test equipment all has FC to whatever adapters. So I'm going to take this guy off and I'm going to screw in my FC adapter. So this light meter here, all that it does is just measure optical output. So you can do this a couple of ways, and again, this is what I've been taught. So I can zero it now and set my baseline, and then I can plug this in and this will actually show me my output power. Oh, I've got to go on glint, sorry. So that's 55.4 dB coming in. The other thing you can do is you can also zero it here. You see there's a lot of fluctuation there. I assume it could be a dirty connector. Let's just fix that quickly. Put that back in. And there we go. A little bit more consistency there. Cool. So you can actually set this and put this on the other end of the cable, and you'll be able to actually see how much loss there is. Or alternatively, you can zero it. Zero it. This is not an expensive device, by the way, folks. Zero it, and then turn it on, and it'll show you how much power you're getting at the end of the wire. Glass. That's how you can test your cable. Now, there's also more advanced devices like an OTDR meter, which are pretty expensive for people like us. I mean, there's probably those of you out there that might have a lot more money, but in the wisp industry, most of us are broke. And unless you're one of the big guys out there, like so-and-so money, you know who you are. Or CJ. There we go. Okay, let's put these guys aside now. Now we're going to want to put some heat shrink on here to tidy this up. So I can take all these guys, I'm just going to put this away for a minute. See, there's an FC. It's a threaded type connector. Put that back in my test case. So let's find a nice piece of heat shrink for this. So I want to kind of protect this to about here. So let's see if I can find something that's going to be long enough to do so. This one looks like it might work. Just going to do a little test here and see if this is... let's turn up the temperature here a little bit. Yeah, that looks good. Alright, cool. So here's a couple pieces of this stuff. I don't have anything longer, I do apologize, but whatever. So now the question is, can I get this on here, because I was a meathead. So let's see if I can slip these through one at a time. So this is the end that's going to go on the shelf with our rack equipment. There we go. And now before I bury all this, I should indicate which one's orange, which is this one here. So this is our orange right here. I'm just going to put a little bit of red marker on it. There we go. A little bit of an indicator on there just so I know what's what. See, if it was really smart, I could have put a piece of, actually put a piece of heat shrink on here that was orange to indicate this one was orange, but we only have 2 wires anyway, so whatever. Alright, so here's our first piece of heat shrink. Overlap quite a bit here to give it some strength. There we go. And she's nice and hot still, so I'm going to straighten her out while it's hot, because otherwise it'll form funny. If you want to speed up the process with this, you can also just hit it with a little bit of ISO, cool it off. Now make it nice and stiff. Alright, so now for the second one.
His country's over with their country, so he just wants some bread. But he also is aware that he's Ireland, he has no experience. So just be easy picking.
There we go. Second
also,
one.
For every Highlander you kill, you get more powerful.
And here's strip number 2. And overlap that a little bit more. And we're almost at the end. And then I can make the DC cable. Yay! So let's put that aside for a second. Straighten it out again. A little bit more ISO on here to stiffen it up while we work. There we go. And then we'll put one more piece on here to give it its last piece. So I could probably use a shorty here that I just buggered up. There we go. Just throw that in the garbage. There we go. Okay, there's the last one. We'll hide all those extra strands that we don't need, and voila! There we go, that's a nice looking cable. Alright, so there we go. So there's our 2 tails for this end. I'm kind of tempted to throw a little extra piece of black over it to give it a little bit more rigidity. Protect this. I think we'll be okay, really. So that's the fiber end done now. Pinch here. Alright, so I'm going to turn off the hot air for a minute. Put this back up here. And now to make the power wire. Alright, this is the big heavy stuff. I'm using, I think it's 14. Let's see here. Yeah, I think this is 14.3. Yeah, 14.3 SOW. So this is all going to be going in conduit. You'll probably notice that this is a big, heavy cable that I picked. It's because I don't want rodents chewing on it. Plus, I couldn't get the nice, light, heavier gauge stuff that they sell for wisps anywhere here in town in time for the project. So, that's what we're going to use. Let me just verify here that this is still recording. Okay, good. Okay, so now let's do the same thing here. So I need to cut this, and this isn't going to work on here, so I need to use something else. So we are going to use I'm going to use my whole phone. Here we go. Good old-fashioned alpha knife. And this is going to be going into the shelf, so I want to make sure that I've got enough to get me around. So I'm just going to carefully, I'm not actually trying to go all the way through the jacket. What I'm trying to do is score it enough that I can actually break it. That way I ensure that I don't actually cut through the wires, right? Because you don't want that.
think he might have been right in the setting.
Yeah. Patience is a virtue, isn't it? Let's break this. You kind of get a feel for it after a while about how deep to go without breaking the jacket completely. Alright. Let's cut off the excess here. I'm gonna get rid of this. I'm actually gonna put a leader tube on here to tidy it up. I think I'll probably use I'll use a do I have any black in here? That's the right size, I think I do. This might be a little big. We'll try this. This might work. So I'm just gonna finish this off with this just for cleanliness. I'm gonna stick that on there now. Let's get the airflow up a little bit. There we go. That's the next step. So we're going to be binding these guys together so that the fiber goes into the shelf, and so does the power. So the power is probably going to need to be about, well, I guess they're both going to roughly the same spot. So we're going to take the ground, and I'm just going to put it back like this because we'll connect that afterwards. There we go. Okay, so that's that. So now we've got these guys here, and something which I'm going to do which is important is color code them. Because, you know what? Our stupid monkey brains can very easily screw this up. We want to make sure that you don't screw it up. So let's see if that will work. Nope. Don't think I'm going to find the right sizes in here. So I'm going to put a red and black on here. So the red one will be on the white, and the black will remain black. Why am I putting heat shrink on something that's already black? Why not? Who cares? You want to fight me? There we go. Nah. Make it a little bit skinnier. There we go. That should be good. So there's our red and black designation. I put fork connectors on here as well for the terminals that it's going on, but nothing's open, and I'm out of fork connectors. So what I'm going to do should be fine. Alright, so let's turn this guy off for now. And let's tin these. Here we go. We're going to do black. There we go. And let's grab some solder here. And just because this isn't sticking too well, I'm going to throw a little bit of flux on here, and that'll just help the solder to get on there, get into it. There we go, that's much better. There, so there's our black. Let's do our red. A little bit of flux on here first. And let's get our solder standing at attention. Very pretty. There we go. A little bit more on the bottom here because it doesn't look like it made it all the way through. And there we go. That's that. So, seeing as I've got a piece of Kim wipe here, let's just wipe off the excess flux, because flux is nasty. Okay, so now we've got our DC and our fiber. I'll just take this off like so. We will bind these guys together. And that's because we intend to actually run these guys side by side. So I think that might be big enough. Might be. Let's find out. So I'll take this guy here. Let's slide these wires into it now. Yep, there we go. That'll fit nicely. And then we're just going to pop these guys through here very carefully, because remember, if you kink these guys, you'll break them. So let's just pop one through. And if we do it up here, see what I mean in a second. There we go. So if I bring this over to the thinner part right here, I should be able to get these guys through easier. There we go. And there's two. Beautiful. Now let's bring the cable up here. And voila. We shall actually bring the actual physical cables together, the actual jackets of the existing cable. That way it gives us some strength here to work with, because I don't want to risk busting anything. So there, these guys are now, we can bind them. Like so. So I'll throw on the heat gun again for a second. Throw this solder over here. And there's our data and fiber. Now the reason why we did two, this guy here, is because the switch that we're using doesn't have a 10 gig interface on it, so we are going to use two of these bad boys to get 10 gig, or sorry, 2 gig. This is actually a 10 gig right here, but I need the mate for it, so. Just find the mate. These guys come in sets. There we go, there's the other one for this. And then we've also got this guy here, our pad, which I'd like to say thank you to Golden Roll High Speed for selling me these, because I didn't have any in hand, and they did. Alright, there we go. So now I can move this power cable over here. The same place as the fiber cable. And then these guys here, this is a 10 dB pad. So the purpose of this guy is to actually dim the signal just a little bit so it's not too hot. So what we're going to do is we're going to use these guys to make sure that we don't fry these, because these are rated for 3 kilometers and we're only going about 30 meters. That's 1/10 the distance. So, there we go. We're going to take this guy here, and we are going to clean it. And we are going to stick it on here. There we go. And then we're going to do the same thing here. Nope. And then we're going to take this guy here, and we're going to insert it. So there's our two 10 dB pads. Actually, I don't want to waste this connector, so I'm just going to stick this one in here like so. There we go. Perfect. I got one spare, which is going to go into my SFP tray. So there we go. This guy's prepped, and maybe I will throw a little bit of tinning on this green now. I'll be doing the rest of this stuff outside at the enclosure next. So you guys will see that in another video. Besides, I do need to break these up just a little bit because they are kind of boring. And again, sorry it's taken me so long to come out with another video. I've been busy with work, trying to get the company going better and dealing with my own mental health issues, so it's been trying times. But this whole quarantine, that's definitely not affecting me in a great way, so there we go.
Oh, we could take 4 or 5 lift cards out.
Okay, so there we go. We've now got our power and our data for the tower right here. So that's what we needed, and that's what we got. And then we've got a nice little binding here to stick them together. So this guy will go into the rack first. We're going to carefully wind all this stuff together. This will go into the rack end, and then the other end will be pulled through the ceiling, just like that. So I'm just going to carefully go like this. You don't want to kink those at all. So here we go. I'll just tape these on like so, just to give them a little bit more strength. There we go. So those guys have a little bit of strength, and that's for cleanliness. I'm just gonna stick a little bit of tape around this one here.
Okay.
And she's good to go. I can put my solder away. So that's pretty much all there is. I know it's not an exciting video, and I know that I'm not in the most exciting condition right now, but whatever. I hope that was at least educational so that you guys could learn a little bit about some stuff which we're all starting to get into. And remember, fiber optic stuff is not to be afraid of, as the equipment costs are coming down now. So when it comes to using it for tower purposes, sorry, or using it in a building to get, you know, a long stretch from where your rack is out, you know, this is it's not terrible stuff to work with. And buying a cheap fusion splicer, if you're in America, you can get a fusion splicer for about $900, like a cheapie like the one I've got, which again is not terrible. So now, since we're done here, I shouldn't have been using my hands, but I'm just going to clean up my workspace where I was. There we go. So make sure that we don't have any little surprises hanging around to get into our fingers. And then that is that. So again, I'm going to try to get some more videos out soon, something useful, something helpful, but don't forget, folks, you know, leave me some comments or some ideas in the comments, you know, any suggestions or tips to what I'm working with, by all means, let me know. And yeah, if you like what you see, spread the word, and like and subscribe below. Alright, thank you everybody. We'll see you later. Bye.